everybody, I'm Liz, and I'm here to talk about The Bronze Horseman by Paulina Simmons. And if you want to enjoy my reading journey of this story, all you have to do is turn to my Twitter feed because I tweeted out my experience. I left out most of the really main spoilery parts of the story out of that Twitter feed, and I didn't get every point I wanted to hit in there, but I got the gist of pretty much my thoughts and feelings while reading the book. If you haven't heard what The Bronze Horseman is about, it is about a girl named Tatiana who lives in Leningrad, Russia during World War II. This happens to be a historical fiction romance novel, and the first chapter takes place when Tatiana wakes up and listens to the radio program where Stalin announces that they are entering the war with Germany. So there's this really big frenzy, and in order to get every preparation ready, her parents tell Tatiana to go to the store to buy food. They have her older sister and mother go to the bank to get money, and then they send her twin brother off to a boys' camp to avoid him being enlisted. While Tatiana goes to the store, she meets this Russian soldier and is immediately smitten by him. Obviously, there's a lot of things that are going on in the story, and it is fairly complex. However, I can't say I really enjoyed this story, as I mostly just laughed at it. I honestly don't understand why this book has such high and phenomenal ratings on Goodreads. It has a 4.3. And honestly, it was not that good. Its only redeeming feature for me was its very realistic and harsh portrayal of wartime conditions in a war-torn country, because they live in Leningrad. And Leningrad is one of the cities that the German fleet consistently bombs and sends enemy troops to. So it is very much a harsh environment with air raids, and then the food source becomes very, very scarce, and people obviously are dying left and right. I can say that my first experience just with the first couple pages of the story were laughable. I had an e-reader, so that's probably where some of my issues happened and went wrong. I couldn't read the map at all of Leningrad and the Soviet Union that is shown within the story, and then the first paragraph of chapter 1 made me laugh because it seemed like Paulina Simmons was trying too hard with her prose. However, this book is a romance novel. It is publicized as a romance novel, and the romance in this story is terrible. Not only is there this forced love triangle between Tatiana, Alexander, the soldier she meets, and none other than her older sister Dasha, who is 7 years her senior. Let that set in for you. They're always fighting, or they are so infatuated and sexually obsessed with each other that they cannot even communicate effectively, and it causes so many problems that a lot of the issues that could be wrapped up and fixed and summed up just don't happen. Another thing I could not stand was the fact that Alexander was this soldier. He was tall, brawny, strong, handsome, and the fact that he's not actually Russian. And then we have Tatiana, who's this airheaded, petite, tiny, insignificant, always brings herself down person. She is not strong until she is forced to be, either with her family or with Alexander himself. And it was just really hard for me to read these because it was so tropey, and just, I felt like these polar opposite characters, it was just way too forceful, and their love was so instantaneous and just very unbelievable. And so while reading this story, I felt like I cared way much more about the war effort and whether Russia was going to push back enemy lines in order to restore Leningrad to its previous state. And whenever it went back to the romance, I just found myself constantly rolling my eyes. Some of the lines were really, really terrible, especially when Alexander would talk about his feelings and his urges, even though Tatiana would say stop or anything like that. He would always say, I'm a man first, or I have these feelings and you're beautiful, you're attractive, and I cannot contain myself. So that really holds an error and an issue with consent. Another thing that gets really troublesome and bothersome is that they put across the love fixes everything, love fixes all, love is the only important thing in life and the only reason to keep living, especially when Tatiana knows that Alexander needs to leave the Soviet Union. He needs to get out and be free so the Russian secret police do not find out about his past. And she says that he can leave and not to worry about her because she's going to kill herself as soon as he leaves, which is very problematic, very troublesome, and they don't even brush upon the sheer consideration of her leaving with him until towards the end of the story when it's basically too late. And so by the time I ended up finishing the story, I was relieved. I was so happy that I was finally done because I just could not stand the story any longer. And so it really shows that some stories, though very, very problematic, can be very popular with the masses. If you've read The Bronze Horseman, please let me know what you thought about the story down below in the comments, because I would really like to hear your perspective on this story. Thank you guys so much for listening to me rant about this story. As you can obviously tell, I did not like it. I hope you guys are not torn away from my videos because of this. I'm generally pretty positive. I hope you guys stick around, do the like, comment, subscribe deal, and I really hope to see you guys again. Goodbye!